am Megan DeLancey, Secretary of the Board for Chambersburg Community Theater. Thank you for joining me in my living room to make some cookies. My kitchen's that away, but it's a little too small for all of us to fit in today. I am going to be showing you how to make a cookie recipe called cream cheese dainties. I love them growing up. As far as cream cheese dainties go, they're your basic cookie recipe. You cream all of the wet stuff together, you mix all the dry stuff together, and then you kind of combine the two. I have the recipe here. It is from, you probably can't see, but it's from the kitchen of Mom and Grandma. This is a recipe that my grandmother always made at Christmas time. She would make like a big cookie platter and just have it out at Christmas. And as us grandkids got older, she kind of stopped making as many cookies. One, because she was getting a little bit older, and two, because we all had our favorites, so some of the cookies just weren't being touched. Cream cheese dainties, though, were always gone pretty fast between me and my cousin. So it starts with 6 ounces of cream cheese, a cup of softened butter, and a few other things that I will get to when I get there. You missed me struggling to get the cream cheese into the bowl, but now I am putting my 2 sticks of butter in, which will hopefully be easier. But I figured I'd tell you a little bit about my Christmases growing up. So in my household, we didn't really do a ton of baking. Like me and my mom, the kind of things we did for Christmas were decorating our Christmas tree together as a family. And as my brother and I got older, it was kind of my mom pulling stuff out of the attic, my brother and I putting together the tree, and then all of us decorating it. Don't need that. So now I need to cream the cream cheese and butter together. All right, so next is adding the sugar and the almond extract. But so while baking wasn't our thing, and we did decorate the tree, my mother also insisted on taking my brother and I to go get Christmas pictures so she could send out like photo Christmas cards to everybody. But it was never like going to Sears Portrait Studio and getting our pictures done. It was us like dressing up and going to the mall to get pictures taken in front of their decorations, or getting in our winter coats with a Santa hat and posing in front of a pine tree in the backyard, like that kind of stuff. And then the kind of things we would do that were more family related or family based leading up to the holidays is when we were a lot younger, or when I was a lot younger, so just like last year, all of my cousins, we grew up celebrating Christmas Eve with my father's side of the family, so his parents, his sisters, all of my cousins, and then celebrating Christmas Day with my mother's side of the family, so again, her parents, her siblings, my cousins. And whenever we started to get a little bit older, Christmas Eve with, this is the peppermint extract, I need the almond extract. What was I saying before I grabbed the wrong extract? When we got older, Christmas Eve with the DeLanceys turned into the Saturday before Christmas with the DeLanceys. As like my cousins started to get older and have their own kids and their own families. And we still do that to this day, just now instead of it being at my grandparents' house, it kind of rotates between like my parents' house and then all of my aunt's houses. Yeah, I think that was half. Okay, it's been a minute since I've made this recipe. I guess I don't have to add the dry ingredients separately. So we will be adding those in this bowl after I cream this together. All right, so as I said, the next step is adding the dry ingredients, which are flour, salt, and baking powder, not baking soda. We need 2 cups of flour. So I should probably add these in slowly, but doing things slowly is boring, so we're not doing that here. I probably should have mentioned this sooner, but if you are at all interested in making this, the recipe will be in the description, which depending on how you're watching this will either be down there, or maybe over there, or maybe over there. I don't think it's going to be up there, but I don't know. I've been wrong before, but don't tell any of the casts that I stage manage for. So I mixed this up, but I did have to switch bowls because this one was getting really overwhelmed. So we switched to the big one, which I had intended to use from the start. But as you can see, it's just normal cookie dough. I'm just cleaning off the spatulas. And then this is going to have to chill in the fridge for an hour, or longer, according to my recipe. Doesn't say if it has to be covered or not, so who knows if I will cover it or not. So we are back to assemble our cookies. The dough has been hanging out in the fridge for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I didn't pay attention. I crushed up my cornflakes. I will put those in the container in a moment. Right now I'm cutting up cherries for on top of the cookies. You just want to, depending on how much you like maraschino cherries, I like them a lot, so I only cut each cherry into 4 pieces. But my mom doesn't like cherries as much, so she normally always made me cut them into 8 pieces. So that is up to you. I just probably would not recommend a whole cherry. That might be a little aggressive. But hey, you do whatever makes you happy. So when you're ready to assemble the cookies, you have your cherries cut, you have your cornflakes crushed, you have your dough that's cold-ish. You just want to dump your crushed up cornflakes into some container that you can easily access because we will be rolling these around in it. So I'm just using the bottom of a bento box that I think I got at IKEA. So you are going to want to section these into about 1-inch pieces. This should make about 5 dozen, according to the recipe I have off to the side of me. While I roll some of these out, I am going to tell you more about my family at Christmas, because I think I've only made it up to Christmas Eve and before Christmas. But on actual Christmas Day, we would wake up in the morning very excited, go down and check under the Christmas tree to see what Santa brought us. And then after we were done opening up all of our presents, our grandparents, I keep saying our, as in me and my brother, our grandparents, my dad's parents, who he had just seen the previous night, would come in and see what, they'd go around to all the grandkids and visit and see like what Santa brought us and what presents we got. So that was always very exciting. My mom would make some coffee and we would have either those like Pillsbury cinnamon rolls that are just in the tube that you kind of like scarily pop open on the edge of your counter. Or there were a few years that I had made some monkey bread and we had that with coffee and just, having a good time. So we would, after my grandparents left, we would then get ready to go to my other grandparents' house for Christmas. And my grandparents were from like Poland and the Czech Republic and Slovakia, like that kind of area. And so at Christmas, we always had kibasi, which is kind of like a Polish sausage kind of food. So every year, there'd be a minimum of 2 kinds of kibasi on the table. And so there would always be an over-dinner debate or discussion about which brand was better and which brand is the only brand that we should have at Christmas the following year. Well then, Christmas would roll around the following year after a decision was made of which kind was the best kibasi, so that's the only kind that we're having. And again, there would be 2 brands. So it was just a yearly kind of debate about which kibasi was the best. And I remember after my cousin's husband joined the family, one year it seemed like there wasn't going to be a debate. And he was like, do I need to start this? Should I be the one that starts the debate? Or do we just let it go? And we're all like, Jeff, just let it go. Don't say anything. And so we get toward the end of dinner and Jeff goes, I think this one brand was a little bit better than the other one. So it started all over again. So every year, there's still 2 brands of kibasi. Sometimes there's a debate, sometimes there's not. I still fully don't understand the difference between the 2 brands because they taste about the same to me. But that is probably my favorite holiday tradition. As you've maybe been paying attention, I've been rolling these into balls and just kind of rolling them around in the corn flakes and then smashing a cherry down into the top of it. So you're just going to do that for all 5-ish dozen of cookies. So I will do that, and through movie magic, you will be seeing the final cookies probably about now. So I pulled these out of the oven. They baked for about 15 minutes at 350. I put them on a nice tray, which normally I just put them directly into my mouth, so this is different for me. They look just like my grandma's. Hopefully they taste that way too. I'm not mad at it. I took too big of a bite. Hopefully if you like this, you'll try making them for yourself. If not, hopefully you'll enjoy whatever cookies you do decide to make for the holidays. Don't forget to stay tuned for the rest of the videos that CCT will be putting out this holiday season. That's all from me. Happy holidays from the CCT family to yours. Bye.